right. So, bro, we're here. Uh, let's talk about. I know what NFL games about to start in about 6 minutes. I think my Texans finna start playing, but even with that, man, I got to start moving around a little bit because I got to go with my wife and my baby girl while all of my kids are away. Anyways,
Yeah.
man, look, that ain't the point. E. first off, this is the Overreaction show on a Sunday, people. It is officially 11:55 a.m. down here Central Time and 12:54 p.m. Eastern Time. I think you all on the Eastern, right? Ain't y'all on the
Yes,
Eastern?
sir.
All right,
Yes,
Eastern Time.
sir.
This is E. Crenshaw coming in from South Carolina out there. What part of South Carolina, bro?
Lexington, probably 35 minutes from Columbia,
All
if
right,
that.
cool. Okay, so Lexington, South Carolina is where E. Crenshaw is coming from, people. I don't know why I keep on speaking into this mic when my damn mic ain't even much on. I think that's just a habit. But anyways, man. First and foremost, my apologies. My apologies to the Texas A&M fan base, and my apologies to other fan bases across the entire nation that was actually sitting there watching it and wanting to know if Texas A&M wasn't going to necessarily win a national title, but were they going to get to 10 wins and possibly get to a New Year's Six bowl? Bro, I've hyped this team up all off season. I mean, all off season. So this is a big apology from yours, truly, J Pops. I'm sorry, guys. I let you down with all of the hype and stuff like that. But if you would have told me that Jimbo Fisher would have started this many freshmen, I promise you, I wouldn't have told you that. Man, we're gonna go either 10-2 at worst. No. We're gonna either go 10-2 at minimum, or 9-3 at worst. I promise you, man, I would never say that. I had no clue that Jimbo was gonna start this many freshmen. Now I didn't know injuries was gonna happen. Like that's just that because that's just all a part of the game.
Yeah.
But if I would have knew it was gonna be this many freshmen, I'm sorry, bro. I wouldn't have hyped this team up like that to say, no, man, we can indeed go and win the national title.
Yeah.
But also, it does rely heavily on Jimbo Fisher calling the offensive plays. And man, let's face it, man, the offensive plays that he's called this year has not been good. A lot of people like to drag the offensive line all around the place, well, all over the place, excuse me. But the offensive line just not has been an issue like that, in my opinion. It has been the offensive scheme. Uh, it has been the quarterbacks with an S because none of them look comfortable. Um, it hasn't been the wide receivers, which is freaking crazy to me because the wide receivers haven't dropped the ball that much this year. I'm sorry, man. The wide receivers have been making plays. The defense, good God Almighty, the defense, man. We took a big fall off the cliff of a mountain on the defensive line this year, and it's not because we lost all of the defensive starters. I think it's ain't no thing. It's because of the defense scheme. You're running this 3-man front. I have no clue why DJ Durkin believed in the 3-man front like this. That shit does not work when you are that thin at your linebacker. Because I don't want to say the linebackers aren't good, because I'd be lying if I told you that, because we've seen the linebackers make plays all fucking season. You don't have enough linebackers to continuously run that style of defense. I will say this. I believe we would have got Hal. I believe if Hal Perkins would have stuck to his commitment, that would have changed a bunch of things going forward if you're going to run that 3-man front like that with those linebackers, because Hal Perkins is pretty freaking fast. He's pretty freaking fast, and we're seeing that at LSU. But you cannot continue to run that style when your linebacker depth chart is just this freaking thin. I mean, man, you're hanging on by a thread. All right. And if two people go down and hurt for the season, I'm sorry, brother, you in trouble. You're really in trouble. We're in trouble now. Hell, we got 3-5 record. Nobody likes it.
Mm.
Hell, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm pretty good with a 3-5 record because I'll be totally lying to you.
Best 3-5 team in the damn country.
And that's crazy for us to think like that, but we're very optimistic. We're very optimistic. And me and you both, as well as other A&M fans, and I'll say 75% of the fan base at that. We're not going to bash these coaches. We're not going to bash these kids. We're overly frustrated because we are in year 5. But like I said, man, again and again, if somebody would have told us all that we'll be having this many freshmen on both sides of the ball starting, I mean, man, we would have said 75 all season. But now we're inching to where, hell, are we going to go 75? Are we?
I think we will. I mean, if offense come out and play like they played last night, I honestly think we have more wins on the season, but we ain't gonna get into all that because clearly he didn't play till now. But
yeah,
just seeing the way that he came in, moved the ball immediately. I ain't bragging or boasting or saying that I said so. I might have tweeted on Twitter, but I'm not bragging or boasting. I'm just stating the obvious. If you look at the quarterback releases, Connor's got the quickest release. If you look at being the most decisive, Connor is instinctive, where the other quarterbacks rely on seeing the field. So I think that alone was the difference. And I feel like his decision making and his quick twitch resulted on the offensive line also not looking as bad because he's getting the ball out quick. So all that plays in the fact of play calling and the scheme. So it looked like to me that we could have been doing this if the play calling would have been what it was with Connor. Now, I ain't no offensive philosopher. I could be dead wrong. But when you put 2 and 2 together, you're going to get 4. I don't care how you look at it. So that's just my perspective on last night. I mean, the kid lit it up. Well, I mean, you can't ask him to do more. He didn't turn the ball over. He took shots. He took. I've seen this kid take the check down over and over and over, but because he took the check down and didn't get us behind the chains, that allowed him to flourish on 3rd and short.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. And I will say this. Me and you both hyped up Connor Wingman when he signed as a 4-star prospect. All right. So when he had signed for the 2022 cycle, he signed as a 4-star. It didn't come until a little bit later in his senior season to where they bumped him up to a 5-star. When they bumped him up to a 5-star, they sat there and they actually, just as well as us, they sat there, man, they witnessed that young man play that game on ESPN and have the game of his life. That was the game where they played Klein High School, and he absolutely went on a tear against Klein. I think he put up like 5 or 6 touchdowns easy, no interceptions. I think he had 1 rushing touchdown. And even with that, man, I'm not going to sit up here and say that his high school offensive line was all of that, because at the end of the day, he did end up getting hurt, and I think that was before the playoff game or in the playoff game. But the point I'm trying to make is this here: Connor Wingman has been doing this ever since his high school career. I sat up there and I witnessed that live his entire senior season. That's just who he is. Yeah. He's quick at releasing the ball. He's quick at making his reads. And if I'm not mistaken, man, he goes into like a 0.5 second read or maybe like a 0.3 second read on the first wide receiver, in which is correct me if I'm wrong, in which is the Z wide receiver or the X wide receiver. It's one of them. But the main wide receiver, what is it?
The X.
Yeah, the X wide receiver, which is the main wide receiver on the route. If that guy in open, he's going to another available option quicker than anything I've seen. Okay.
Yeah.
That's called being a very, very prepared quarterback. And that's called understanding your position. He understands his position. And what he did out there on the field last night, he looked like he had been running with the ones all freaking season.
Yeah.
That's what it actually looked like. It looked like he had been running with the main offense, in which, excuse me for the plane flying by, but I do stay by the airport. Just want to go ahead and get that out there. But it looked like he had been running with the ones in practice all season long, man. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't all ones out there, because that was not your starting offensive line at the first part of the season. All right. So I will say that. However, I will say this. It looked like he had been running with Evan Stewart either on the practice field all season, or him and Evan may have been getting together after practice was over with. So when that time came, they can be pretty much ready.
Yeah.
It looked like he had been working with Moose Muhammad either at practice or after practice, because we all got to remember, too, that Moose wasn't in the starting lineup. Moose was on the second starting lineup. So I believe that's why him and Moose connected so well, because, man, they've been doing this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of easy. And I want to say this, too. Moose Muhammad has changed his entire freaking perception of being a wide receiver that didn't start to going now starting, to where he's the leader of that wide receiver core right now.
Man, I tell you what about Moose.
He's
I'll say
changed his
this
whole
too.
identity for me.
Bro, Moose been that guy.
And
Moose
he
showed
has.
us he showed us he was that guy last year. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on in the locker room. That ain't my business. I ain't no coach. The coach is gonna play you when they see fit and when they comfortable with it. But I feel like Moose Muhammad should have been in that role. Now you imagine if we'd had Moose playing. Well, now I ain't trying to get into what ifs and you know how we run off of left field. I ain't trying to go there, but you imagine having Moose and a Nas at your disposal as a quarterback, and then everybody else around there.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this offense would have been a whole lot better, man. But like I said, Jimbo know what he's doing. So I'm gonna just let him do what he do. I ain't gonna, like I said, take shots at the coaches. But man, it's just so dissatisfying seeing how good this kid came out. There were no struggles.
Yeah.
He did not look like a freshman quarterback.
And he did. He didn't. And I want to take it to where a lot of people are saying, because I have seen this, oh man, it's a lot of quarterbacks that look good in their first game, especially at home. Man, you can dismiss me with that, because it isn't a lot of quarterbacks that I know that can come out and be perfect on the first two drives. Remind you, there was no incompletions on the first two drives that young man came out and played. None. I've never witnessed that in my lifetime, or watching the young man carry a 3-14 that's in very much desperation mode at this point, and can field up two drives easy, and then had Evan Stewart catch a one-handed pass. It looked like Evan was playing for him, period. Like I say, Moose Muhammad was playing for him, period. Tight end Donovan Green looked like he was playing for him, period. But this team just had a spark. They had a spark, and I hate to say that, because that is like a common thing of when the guy that haven't been starting, he's getting off the bench and he goes in there and it's like an unidentified spark of the team all of a sudden. I want to take it back to when Max came out there. Max had a spark, but Max only threw for like what, 170, 150 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he still pretty much looked lost in that offense as well. And that's why I said what I said. It makes no sense to me, and it blows my mind that Max Johnson and Haynes King both came out there and looked absolutely lost in this offense. What I stated was a factual point here. When your quarterback is lost, your offensive line is going to be lost. When your quarterback is lost, your wide receiver core is going to be lost. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. Nobody. So for this young man that has been sitting on the bench, and granted he graduated early and enrolled early, for him to be sitting on the bench as a two-way player, because he is going to play baseball starting next season. He said he wasn't going to do it this season at all. He didn't want to get into it. He wanted to actually just sit there, and he wanted to be a true football player for this season, period. I don't know what playbook he studied, but the playbook that he studied was the same playbook that all the goddamn quarterbacks been having. Haynes King specifically for 3 years now. Nobody has had a different playbook. This shit is all Jimbo Fisher's playbook. If I find out that and this is Haynes, and this is me not bashing on Haynes, but this is me being so upset with Haynes King because I hyped him up so goddamn much, as well as a lot of other people. I hyped him up so freaking much, dude. If I find out that Haynes skimmed that damn playbook and really didn't study that, I'm gonna be mad, dog. Because if Connor, as a true freshman, can come in here, not have that much freaking time, like all the rest of the gentlemen that have been here, and he studied that damn playbook, he studied instead of skimming through it, that's going to upset me, dog. But that's going to obviously let me know this is why Connor Wingman was in a very tight race. So far as when he came out in the 2022 recruiting class with Quinn Ewers and Caden Club.
I'll say this. I'll say this too. If you watch when Haynes is in, the team responds, but the team's not energetic. They're not thriving. They're not looking to make the next play. Same with Matt. With Connor in, the team looks more like a team. You can see the continuity. You can see the sense of urgency. You can see the response. It's like they know he gonna. Last night it looked like they knew Connor was gonna make the play.
Yeah.
I mean, they just the team looked different. Now you can call me crazy. You can call me fiberglasses. You can say, "Oh, he's just happy because they finally might have figured it out at quarterback." Nah, man. That last night, that the offense looked like a machine last night.
Yeah.
At points. But once again, like we talked about with the tempo, I mean, we shredding them, we running the ball, we're throwing the ball, taking shots. Everything's working. Why do we slow down?
Yeah. And we discussed this last night over a phone call after the game. So let's point out the obvious here. Jimbo Fisher took his foot off the gas after he went up 14-7. Why in the world does he do that every game? And I've seen him do this for 5 years now. He takes his foot off the gas and he doesn't believe in running up the score. Me personally, I did not believe it as well a couple of years ago, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. In order to take a team out, you gotta put your foot on the gas and you can't take it off. Regardless if you're blowing their asses out 52-7, stuff like that. Me and you talked about this yesterday. And them could have very well blew out this team while giving up 390 freaking rushing yards, and which is absolutely insane to me, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But it's no way in hell that you can tell me this team couldn't have scored more than 28 points last night. That team there with Connor Wingman behind the helm throwing 4. Let's make this very clear. Connor Wingman had all the touchdowns last night. All the 28 points came from him. Devon Achane didn't have a rushing touchdown, period, but he had over 120 rushing yards. That stat line is insane. So let's name the players that all got a touchdown from Connor Wingman. Evan Stewart was number 1. Moose Muhammad was number 2. Noah Thomas, which is another freshman that has been buried on the depth chart.
Yeah,
he was the 3rd.
He looked good.
And he looked damn good. And Devon Achane got the 4th touchdown. How in the you know what? No, it ain't no excuse my language because hell, this is a freestyle show. This is the Overreaction. How in the fuck do you throw 4 touchdowns to 4 different people as a freshman, bro? We're talking about a freshman here. He gave everybody an ample opportunity to make a touchdown, and that's what they all did. 4 different people, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. 4. This was his first start against an Ole Miss team that's good. I'm not going to say Ole Miss is fraud, although man, although I do believe that Ole Miss is fraud somewhat. All right,
Yeah.
and we'll get to Lane Kiffin a little bit after the at the end of this show because he's on some bullshit right now. But to have 4 different people catch your touchdown passes is insane to me. All right, he made every wide receiver look better than what they've been looking like all season. And it blows my mind to say that I was against starting Connor Wingman for the entire season. I was against it, man. And I was against it because he was a true freshman. I did not want him to get out there that quick. I've always said, man, let him sit back and just learn a little bit, and then you put him out there type deal. Let these guys that have been here for years get in there because they're capable of being that guy. Well, I was wrong. I admit that. I was wrong. Connor Wingman should have been starting from day one. I don't care what people tell me about that offensive line. Connor Wingman made the offensive line look better than what they use. Because let's face it, we don't have a good O-line at all. But Connor made them look better than what they were because he was quick at getting the ball out. He was accurate with getting the ball out. And I want to say this here, the guy that dropped the last play last night, number 11, I believe that's the young man that walked on
Blake
at
Smith.
A&M. What's his name?
Blake Smith.
Blake Smith. So it's
tight
that.
end.
Okay, so that's tight end. All right, I got you. Okay, tell me something because I thought that was a wide receiver that walked on at Texas A&M to be with Connor Wingman.
Nah, that was
that's what I thought.
tight end.
All right, cool.
Tight end.
All right. So I am like most people. I think Donovan Green would have caught that, 9 out of 10 times. But Connor gave everybody a shot that's at the wide receiver core on last night. He gave everybody opportunity to shine. I will say that if Jimbo don't get off his ass and put in Keith Brown, I'm gonna be very upset.
He hurt, bro.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's hurt. He banged up.
Okay. All right, tell me something. Because I'm like, man, I ain't seen that guy. A lot of people think we're gonna lose this class. Oh man, people gonna transfer portal because we 3-5. We're gonna go 7-5.
Ain't nobody going nowhere. I ain't worried about
that. I don't believe so neither because of the simple fact of that. No, they did not know that they were gonna be this bad of a team. They didn't know that. But bro, I don't know why so many planes is taking off today. Obviously, it must have been an event or something. I ain't never heard this many planes at one time. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there, man. But this is an all freshman squad to me. I know it's a couple of sophomores and maybe like 1 or 2 seniors or whatever. But this is very much an all freshman squad. And if this all freshman squad goes 7-5, this once again is gonna remind me of the 2019 season all over again. And where we went 8-5, we ended up at the Texas Bowl. And we had a tough time with Oklahoma State, but Kellen Mond rallied us back and we ended up winning that ball game.
Yeah.
It's a very realistic chance to think that we're gonna go to the Texas Bowl again, people. Yeah, I know y'all want to hear that. It's gonna be our 3rd damn time in this program history while being in the SEC that we're gonna go to the Texas Bowl. I'm tired of seeing NRG Stadium. Hell, I look at it when the Texas play in there. They ain't good neither this season. You know what I mean? So you can only imagine the pain that I'm going through. But I will say, man, this freshman squad goes 7-5. The sky's the limit. I don't know what else you can expect these freshmen to do on both sides of the ball. They need to get better at running defense because they're so piss poor on that end. And
bro, I don't even really think it's the defense, bro. We just cannot miss that many tackles.
That's true.
In position. I mean, you look at that was it that 61-yard run he had last night after we scored and got him to what, third and or was that fourth down? I don't remember what down it was. But the guy he met in the hole by three defenders. All three dive and miss. Stay on your feet. Break down. Shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Run your feet. Is that simple as far as technique.
Yeah.
We flying up trying to make the big hit. I know we want the big hit.
Yeah.
We make plenty of big hits.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you gotta execute fundamentals. The same thing Jimbo say every Saturday. Everybody tired of hearing it. The guys do it on the field, we won't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentals, bro. Fundamentals. Break down, make the tackle. Break down, wrap up, help coming.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to run in the hole for the knockout hit. We gotta stop it. I love the hits.
Mm-hmm.
I love when they make them hits. But when it comes to making a big hit or a guy springing for 61 yards, when we got the momentum, break down, make the tackle. Now I love Matthews, safety. That's my guy. Jacoby, I love that kid.
I love him, man. Once again, freshman talent, Bryce Anderson. Man, it ain't nothing you can tell me about that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Dog.
And this is the reason to why Texas was so upset that they didn't land him. You know what I mean? So, although we have rivals out here, which is Oklahoma and Texas, in which they're trying to say, "Oh, well, these guys, Texas A&M in the rival." Stop it. But Texas was indeed frustrated when they didn't land him. They were indeed frustrated when they didn't land Evan Stewart. It's a reason behind why, and I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm talking about the coaching staff here, people. It's a reason to why they wanted Bryce. Bryce is that damn good on that defensive side of the ball. Now, remember, he played on both sides in high school. Just as well as many other guys when they come from out of high school. They two sides of the ball players.
Go both ways, yeah.
Like pretty much athletes. But Bryce can tackle his ass off. So I talked to his dad a couple of times, and he's a real cool guy, as well as Dominique Green's dad, man. Really two cool individuals. Although this season is looking like how it's looking, this is what Bryce Anderson's dad told me. They this is what they told me. They just have to keep the momentum going. And Bryce Anderson's dad told me this here. They just have to let Bryce continue to play. All right. Because Bryce will only get better. They just gotta, ain't no day. DJ Durkin just has to continue to get him in there, get more reps, and just let them get better, bro, because you can't ask that much from these freshmen. Yes, this is a very talented recruiting class, but we're kidding ourselves if we all thought that a freshman recruiting class was going to make us be some damn national champions right after they sign. That's crazy. That is crazy. We are all kidding ourselves if we did think that we were going to be a 3-5 team right now. All right, because it isn't nobody at Texas A&M that can tell me, oh man, I knew we were going to be 3-5. That's a freaking lie. A lot of us thought that all these games that we should have won, App State one of them, we should have won the ball game. We should have won it. But what has been the Achilles heel all season? Giving up third downs on defense. Can't get off the field on third downs and fourth downs specifically. You can't get off the damn field, man. You got to get off the field. You have to. But what has teams been doing to us all season? Running the football. Running the football. Running the football. Running the football. It isn't a team that we have faced all season that has put up 300 passing yards on us.
As long as they're scared to throw it.
Because they respect that part of the field. They respect that part. So, of course, our stats are going to look very misconstrued. I believe that's the right word I'm looking for. It's going to look very misconstrued because teams know that they can just get us by running the football. And like you say, it didn't necessarily on the defensive line. It's on the guys that's on the second level that are missing key tackles.
That's
They're not
it.
tackling.
That's
And
it.
letting them cut by them. I seen yesterday where a lot of guys try to do a couple of arm tackles. I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit ain't gonna work on Zach Evans. And Zach Evans proved that. I think he ran over about 3 guys and he looked like he was on NCAA football all over again because I've seen that too many times.
Yeah,
And he just went through him like a bowling ball. That blows
until
my
they
mind.
to their defense, they was on the sideline. So I feel like
And
they
they
kind.
were. They
Yeah.
were.
So I would say that he bowled them over. I think those kids were being mindful, not trying to get a penalty, and he just kind of took advantage of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the
Because
play
he
looked
was
like
out of
something.
he was out of bounds before he even got hit.
Yeah,
Remember, he was out at the 42. So maybe they saw him run out of bounds and they let up and he kept running. That's how I think that went.
that's true there. That's true there. I'm not going to say anything different on it. What I will say is that every freshman that has come in now so far, they've gotten everything that they've gotten promised to them. Because I'm pretty sure that Jimbo Fisher and his entire coaching staff promised these guys that you're going to get playing time and things of that nature. Everybody has got their wish fulfilled. Okay. Um, I I just want to throw that out there. At the same time, I think Jimbo Fisher was willing to take a lot of criticism this year because he knew that was going to be a risk. I'm going to play all these guys. I'm going to have to risk something.
Yeah,
So,
it's always gonna be a
you know
fallout,
what I
man.
mean? So it's one of those. I'm not trying to take up for him. I'm not trying to, do this and et cetera, because it ain't no excuses for us being 3-5 right now. It ain't none at all. Um, but he knew that if he was going to do that, then people were going to grow very frustrated. The fan base is frustrated, but these kids are camping out once again. I'm coming with you, but these kids are camping out once again for this Florida game, which is very, very crazy to me because we're 3-5 right now. Once again, I don't think you can ask for much more right there. You have the fans, you got the resources, as people love to say, and et cetera, man. So, hey, I just don't know. But E, we're gonna wrap this thing up. I thank you for being on the show. I'm gonna go ahead and
Yes,
get up out of
sir.
here. And if there's anything you want to express to them, man, go ahead and just let everybody know now.
Nah, man. I just like to see a little bit more support. Stay behind the team. I mean, these guys are all we got. We beating them up, talking smack about them, what they can't do, what they ain't gonna do. Just give them time. I know we're tired of time. We've been fighting the time train for a very long time, but we ain't never looked this promising with this young of a team. So I honestly think that next year we should see some significant changes, and I think we're just going to continue to go up from here. So just stay behind the guys. Kind of watch what you're saying or how you say it on Twitter because they see it, and it can sometimes be demeaningful and have a negative effect on them. And these kind of things can linger and transpire onto the field and cause them to regress because of the way that they feel like they're being perceived when they really are giving it all they got. So
Yep.
just stay behind the team, kid them.
That's true. And I will say this here before we end this. And then we'll have a new offense coordinator next year. I just want to put that out there. I'm not going to say no names of who that may be, but I do believe, but I ain't no believe. I do know that it is a list of offense coordinators in the Power 5 ranks right now that will get called from A&M, and one will take that off him and do what he has to do. All right, so Jimbo isn't stupid. Jimbo knows he got a damn good, talented offensive roster, and he does indeed have one of the best wide receiver cores in the nation. If Connor Wingman comes out next game, throws the same amount of yards again, with maybe even 3 touchdowns, that lets everybody know what they need to know. Connor Wingman will now have 7 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and damn near 800 yards passing. Ain't nobody done that, period. Haynes King has been here for this long. My boy Haynes ain't done that, period. Max, he wasn't going to do it, period. And that's gonna grow very frustrating on the fan base because we're gonna be like, damn, bro, you've been holding this for the entire time. Wegman will be the starter for the remainder of the season. Jimbo Fisher's already confirmed that. If Wegman ends up having over 1,500 yards passing with about 15 touchdowns, that man, I don't know what to tell anybody after that part. That's just one of those. I'm gonna do my best not to hype this team up. I'm sorry, man, but it's gonna be in. I'm going to do it because you have a quarterback with experience. And what does everybody always say? They don't have experience at quarterback. Now you do. And once again, if this guy has 1,500 yards passing, if this freaking freshman ends the year at 21 touchdowns, maybe 2 or 3 interceptions, good God Almighty, man, I really do think that the SEC is in trouble. So that's it. That's all I got. E, we're gonna go ahead and burn up out of here. Hashtag gigging, baby. E, I'm gonna holler at you. Woo! Thank you for tuning in.
Woo! Yes, sir. Giggle.
Yeah.